Hey guys, today we will be learning about loops. There are three different types of loops. There's the for loop, while loop, and repeat loop. The for loop and the while loop are the ones you'll probably use the most, since the repeat and while are basically the same thing. So let's get started on the for loop. The for loop has two parts. Actually, four parts, if you think about it. The opening for. This basically tells it it's a for loop. Then it has the variable definition. So variable equals start pose, a number to start at, end pose, a number to end at, an increment. Then followed by the for is a do. And just like an if and function, it has an end to tell it's all over. So I know that seems a little bit complicated, but if I put this in 2 words that you'd understand, then yeah, it'll seem a lot easier. So let's say that we wanted to get the count up to 10 by increments of 1. We would do for I, that's the variable, equals 1 to 10 by 1, do. By default, the increment is 1, so we'll print I. That will print everything from 1 to 10. Now, say we wanted to count backwards. We would do for I equals 10, because that's the start pose, and to 1, that's the end pose. We would do -1, because we wanted to count down. Do print I. End. That will print 987654321. Now, say we wanted to increment by 0.1. We can do that. For statements are probably one of the most useful if you want to do something with it. Next, we will be talking about the while loop. The while loop is very similar to the repeat loop. So this is basically how a while loop set up. While something is true, do end. So let's say we have a equals 1. Okay? While a is less than 5, do end. A equals a plus 1. That'll keep adding 1 to a until a is greater than 5 or equal to 5. So that's basically how a while loop works. If the value is still true, it keeps looping, otherwise it stops. And every loop has a special little word that stops it completely. This little word is called break. It breaks the loop, basically. Okay, so after that, let's learn the repeat loop. The repeat loop is very similar to the while loop. Repeat code until something is false. So let's say we want a to equal 10. So we would set a equals 1, repeat a equals a plus 1 until a equals 10. It'll keep adding onto a until a is equal to 10, then it'll stop. So, well, that's basically how loops are and loops work. The special character to break a loop whenever you want is break, and I suggest using while instead of repeat, but that's just personal preference. To make an infinite loop, you just set while true do or while wait do. Every loop must have a wait because it just would crash the game if it didn't, because it is constantly running on an infinite loop, and it is constantly running that script, so it's creating a lot of lag, and it'll just crash your game. So remember to add a wait onto every single loop besides the for loop. The for loop doesn't really need one because it doesn't constantly run. You can't get an infinite loop with it. Well, you can, but just add a wait to every loop. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.